Thank you for inviting us to come speak and to just discuss things. These things are valuable tools for both of us, really. And quite frankly, I think I'd speak on behalf of my colleagues that we're very glad that the session's over, special session, although brief, but we're very glad it was over. We enjoy being back home, and I've been dealing with the future empty nesting situation and weather and fighting a weed in my yard. So I've just been, it's called Virginia Buzzwood. If you ever get on the internet, you will see the only way to get rid of that is by digging it up. And I'm telling you, I've been spending some time digging. But that's part of coming home and getting reacclimated and situated. This last session, I was here in February or March, I think February or March, kind of told you at that time, or once we came, that the session had a different dynamic. Every session has a different dynamic. And this session we had a different dynamic with the closeness in membership between the Democrats and Republicans. And quite frankly, 76, 74, and by the end of the session, it was almost as if it was 74, 74. We lost Mr. Temple he had a heart issue, collapse in the Capitol. We lost him. We had chubbing that went on at the end. And, I wanted just to talk a little bit. I can talk about the bills I did. I worked on a lot of bills. My legislative director said I touched about 90 different bills. And I filed about 30-something. I passed about 18, 19, 20, something like that. And ranging from the SAFE Act, which we were required to pass something involving broker registration and so forth, required by the federal government, to health issues, to tax issues, to I even had a crime issue, I had an apartment issue, a variety of different things that came up. But chairing state affairs, I had a big omnibus bill, which I learned a valuable lesson about that. I'm going to speak tomorrow at a big utility symposium. And I learned a valuable lesson about trying to carry an omnibus bill on electricity. No matter how good I thought it was, the pushback is just tremendous. And it's a lot easier to singularly handle those issues, and I think I learned that lesson. But the State Affairs had 15 members, the largest, other than appropriations, the largest committee. We had about 240 years of legislative experience on that committee, and it was an interesting process as well. I've never been chair of that committee. I've always been chair of financial institutions, or been on financial institutions, been chair of business and industry, not chair, but been on business and industry. I was vice chair of several committees, but this was the first time I was ever on a committee that large and in charge of so many different issues that affect the state, including the very volatile issue of electricity and electricity rates. Those of you who don't realize it, this summer has actually been pretty good. Whether you think it is or not, it's been very hot. But I'm telling you that the only thing that saved all of us in this new market that we've got is that gas prices are down. So the economy, as bad as it is, and it's starting to get better, the indicators seem to say next year it should be better. There are a variety of things, but gas prices really made it tolerable this year. And we tried to deal with a variety of consumer issues in that omnibus bill, and at the end of the day, it didn't work out. But in reality, I want to talk a little bit about what happened at the end, because I do think it's relevant. We may have different perspectives on it, but we originally thought Myra was going to speak, and then Ken and me, and I can just say, well, echoing this, and I'd like to clarify this and that. But let me just tell you what I think really happened. I think that the chubbing deal at the end, the Democrats, God bless them, got in over their heads. And they just lost it. They went into that, it was really quite unique. And as an author with House rules and been familiar with the rules for a number of years and worked on them, we never really contemplated, I don't think anybody ever really contemplated using the local consent calendar that way. The Democrats got smart about it and decided to try to shove for so many days. I think they really started that process thinking that it was only going to last for a few hours. Maybe a day. They were constantly wanting to talk about deals and trying to do this over voter ID. And when I came back, when I was here earlier, I said, and I meant it. There's nobody probably in this room that doesn't think we should not have a voter ID. It's just practical to do that. But they fought that, and there were a number of Democrats who probably sort of going by the wayside, but it already had started and they kept wanting to somehow make a deal. And the leadership and the speaker and the Republican caucus said, no, it's your problem. You started it, you finished it. And they just didn't know how to get out of it. And I talked to Speaker Pro Tem Craig Island. I talked to a variety of people. Warren Chisholm and I talked to various members privately. I mean, there were a lot of people talking, but at the end of the day, we weren't going to really back down. We needed them to decide how they were going to get out of what they started, and they couldn't figure out how to get out of that. And it really did affect a lot of legislation. It really affected the calendar. We lost a lot of good bills. We lost a lot of bills that were amendable. And at the end of session, what really happens a lot of times is in the last week or so of session, even on our general calendar, we have bills that go through, then we have debate, then we have bills that go through, then we have some more debate, and it's time, but kind of just, it's a continuity situation. But all of those bills that come up towards the end, a lot of those bills are amendable. People just say, well, we didn't get this out of committee or didn't get that out of committee. It's a chance for members and positions by various parties, whether Democrats, Republicans, or this group or that group or whatever, associated, to file amendments to those bills. So we lost that opportunity in the House. And it created, it created a lot of issues in the Senate as well. Shoving is where you just speak on a bill. We have various time limits in the House. And you chub on a bill and you just delay the passage of that bill. You're not necessarily going to kill it, but you're going to chub on it by speaking about the bill for a period of time, almost to the time where it would die because the time ran out. And what they did on the local consent calendar, you have approximately 2 minutes to 3 minutes to lay it out, and then you have 10 minutes. And if you speak for 10 minutes on the bill, you've killed the bill on the local consent calendar and move on to the next bill. But if you only speak and you allow it to be laid out, 1 minute? Geez.
1 minute.
Okay, well let me tell you. If you allow it to be laid out and then you speak for 9 minutes and 45 seconds, then you pass the bill on local consent and you move on to the next bill. So it delayed bills tremendously. We went and had about 200 bills. What should have taken about 3 or 4 hours to do took 5 days. I know we're going to answer some questions, and Cam's probably got his viewpoints on different things he did, but I will tell you that it was a very interesting session. The dynamic was different than any other session. Like I said, most sessions are all have a different scale. This one was really, really unique, especially because of the makeup of the House. And I'll be back to answer questions.